What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here from Macho Wrestling 101. Before I get to my Raw review, which I will do in seconds, I just would like to say hit subscribe. I've almost got 100 subscribers, and it's a relatively new channel, just a month or two, so it'd mean a lot to me if you considered hitting the subscribe button. I do history of wrestling videos every single day, and I also do Raw reviews like this, so if you hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now let's get to the Go Home to Survivor Series War Games show from Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Van Andel Arena. 5 days to go until Saturday's PLE event. This is just straight off the Drew turning heel and Becky and Cody making their appearances last week on SmackDown to build to War Games. It was illogical, but they did that nonetheless. Lots to go over, so at least there'll be some answers here tonight. The show started with Drew McIntyre standing in the ring in the bunch of darkness. Drew does the classic "Why Drew" line that all heels do once they turn. I even previewed my show earlier a few hours before Raw, and I put "Why Drew Why" as the title. So it's a little redundant, but it works. His heel promo, he says, "I don't give a damn what you think to the fans. This Drew is better than the other." I like heel Drew a lot better, as long as he's not joking around with the interviewers like he did last time. He should be a Scottish psychopath. This promo got personal. Drew talked about families and how he used to be with his family at Clash of the Castle and how he had a chance to win there, but he couldn't, so that really burns him. And Jey Uso also obviously is a strong family man, so that was the center of the promo for tonight's main event. Only Rhea could offer Jey Uso in a cage. That's what Drew wanted when he shook Rhea's hand. He wasn't joining the Judgment Day, but he was just saying he wanted Jey Uso in a cage, and that's what Rhea could deliver him. Then Drew does what wrestlers should have done for many years, and that's cut off the person that interrupts them with their entrance theme. Whenever for years on Raw, we'd always see somebody come down to the ring and say The Rock's in the ring, and then Triple H's music hit. The Rock would wait till Triple H gets to the ring to start talking. Why not? Why doesn't The Rock talk over his music? Surely they're not that polite that they're just going to let their music play. So what Drew does when Jey Uso's Uso hits the theme, Drew McIntyre talks over it, and he says, your ass belongs to me. I'm going to hand you your ass. He says a line like that. I'm just paraphrasing. And what do you get? You get a guy talking over the music because he knows it doesn't matter. So that was awesome. Jey Uso then said "yeah" a lot, and he'd give him a beat down, and he needs to get over it. The Judgment Day suddenly show up at ringside, and then Rollins comes out, then Sami Zayn, then Cody Rhodes. All their music hits as they all stand opposing each other. The faces are lacking one person, though, so that's the cliffhanger. Adam Pearson says, "No, War Games, it's Saturday, not tonight. Whoever throws the first punch would automatically take the advantage if anyone threw the first punch in this ring segment." Pierce says they need to pick a fifth member by the end of the night. So that's the call to Orton I wrote in my notes. A one-on-one will happen by 9 o'clock to see who gets the one-on-one match, to see which side gets the advantage at War Games. And if anyone interferes, they cost the team the advantage. So the show begins with an average opening segment. It fired the crowd up, but it's the go-home show. You should expect that. It leads you to what you want to know, then there will be a fifth man. So they have a cliffhanger. Who is the fifth man? And if you're not keeping up to date with wrestling sites, you might not know. So it really was suspenseful for the average fan. Gunther goes face-to-face with the A-lister The Miz tonight, in addition to two other ladies matches that we already know of. Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax, plus Xia Li taking on Becky Lynch. So Gunther will have a face-to-face with The Miz segment. Backstage, Priest confides with mommy Rhea Ripley about how he should have been involved in all the Judgment Day's decisions, and he wants to be the one in the match tonight. Rhea says they're waiting on Drew, and then we'll decide together. Rodriguez versus Jax starts. Rodriguez spears Nia Jax in the corner until she met her Uranagi slam. Both ladies with stiff mid-blows in the ring. Rodriguez spears Jax through the ropes to the floor. Raquel with a crossbody from the apron to the floor as Jax pushed her against the barricade. Nia then had Raquel Rodriguez on her shoulder and threw her shoulders into the ring. Now we go to a commercial. At least the action was good in this one thus far before the commercial. Back from the commercial, the ladies are outside the ring. Nia is torturing the back of Raquel Rodriguez by bending her spine across the ring post. Jax looking to wear down Raquel Rodriguez with a sleeper. Rodriguez came back with a head scissors, sending Nia flying, and then a big boot. Rodriguez got the crowd into it and then hit a corkscrew spinning elbow as the fans cheered. But then Nia worked on her lower back, and then Jax, as Nia came back in the match, then she went for a senton off the side ropes and hits it to Raquel Rodriguez. Nia sets her up in the corner of the ring, but Raquel Rodriguez lifts her up, and Jax then made her drop as her back gave out. So Raquel Rodriguez, brain cramp there. Raquel Rodriguez's back gave out when she tried to pick up Nia Jax, as I'm sure a lot of our backs would go out trying to do that. Nia Jax then did her top annihilator move, and she gets the win at 8 minutes. This was a good match here. I really liked it. I thought it was 2 stars and a quarter. I really thought for a Nia Jax match, this was one of her best matches. So I'm not sure about Raquel Rodriguez, but this is one of Nia Jax's best matches on the Raw brand. Cole says this is why she's the irresistible force. Basic enough match. They then show the Xia Li video package from last week. After that, then they show the damage control package from last week. And they had Super Becky fly to Evansville, Indiana in the span of 20 minutes. It gets stupider the more you watch the segment. The more you watch the review or the video package of it, it just gets dumber, and it defies more logic. We only ask for logic and common sense so we can suspend our disbelief and watch this show with logic and common sense. But sometimes the WWE, they're a little bit low on that. The ladies match, we see 2 ladies matches in the first hour as they're going to go to Xia Li and Becky soon. I said on my Raw proof earlier today that I feel this is going to have a dirty finish. How else could they book this? No way they're having any lady losing, in my view, but I've been wrong before, so we'll see how this ends up. Was I wrong? Yes, I was. The faces backstage decide, as you'll see. The faces backstage decide Jay will take on Drew tonight in the advantage match because you know he gets down for his family, Oos. You know that, Oos. Cody then says he has SmackDown options for the 5th member, he's told Zayn, and an old friend he can call up. I wonder if he's talking about his union with LA Knight or his legacy roots with Randy Orton. Talking about Orton. It's one or the other, I wrote in my notes. At least there's suspense. Anyway, the bell rings, and Xia Li, they begin their match. Xia Li with a standing side headlock into a shoulder block followed by a right hand. She misses her high kick, so Becky Lynch does a leg sweep. Becky catches her with a chop, charges at Nia Li and missed her throw. Becky hits a baseball slide and then Lynch with a right hand off the top of the apron to the floor. Commercial. We come back from the commercial. Xia Li has been taking it to Becky, and she has a submission on, controlling Becky Lynch on the canvas floor. Becky comes back and knocks Xia Li down to build momentum. A Beck-Sploder suplex and a near fall. Becky Lynch went for the dishonor, but Lee had it scouted and escaped before hitting a spin kick to the back. Xia Li went for the atomic drop, but a standing switch and not a dishonor. Xia Li doesn't know how to get out, but she forced a pinfall attempt with a leverage adjustment. An airplane spin by Xia Li goes down, and Becky kicks out. Lee chokes out Becky Lynch in the corner and goes to the top rope, and then Lynch stops her up top and brawls with her all the way down to a beautiful superplex off the top by Becky Lynch. Bad News Barrett calls this a WrestleMania main event. Not quite Bad News Barrett, but it's up there. It's a pretty good match. Right when he called this a WrestleMania main event, Lynch then went good for a rock bottom, and Xia Li hits a spin kick, and Becky got caught up in the ropes. Then Xia Li sends Becky to the floor. Becky drives Xia Li into the ring post, as Becky barely knew where she was after that side kick to the head. She's selling it well, as that Xia kick comes back into play, as they've been trying to put over in recent weeks. Both ladies beat the 10 count and get in the ring, and they slide in the ring at 9. The ladies brawl it out in the middle of the ring. Becky Lynch hits a one-handed slam as Becky gets the pinfall at a TV time of 12 minutes and 25 seconds. I rate it 3 stars. It was a fantastic match for TV. Fantastic for the time it got. It was an all-out war at times. I'd give it 3 stars. Like I said, clean finish impressed me. It shocked me that Xia Li got a victory or got a loss just in a clean way, but this did make Becky look dominant. Damage control does show up like I predicted. I just thought they'd be in the finish. What are all these SmackDown ladies doing here? Seriously, why is it just allowed? I get the officials came out and get them, and I know it's to build Survivor Series, but it's just ridiculous. It should not be allowed. And it should be a major deal when it happens. What was Charlotte doing there? How did she in damage control? How did she know damage control was gonna? You see how choreographed and phony it looks? If they're gonna have 2 brands and they're gonna have 2 GMs, at least make it make sense. It's just overly redundant. Damage control comes out and they just had a face-to-face. Charlotte Flair knows that they're gonna be there. It's the same fucking thing every time. There's zero accountability and it should be unacceptable. It just floats over everyone's heads every single time, too. The writing team, we're not idiots. We're actually people that want this show to make sense. We want to disbelieve. We want to make things disbelief. That's wrestling. That's Wrestling 101. We know it's a show. We want it to make sense. That's all we ask. So if they're going to make these drafts matter, if they're going to have GMs, if they're going to have separate titles, for God's sakes, give them accountability. Make them suspended. Make it so it doesn't happen. And if it happens, make it the once-a-year thing that's amazing. They just showed up, and it was at that. Nobody talked about it for the rest of the show. It was just there for that one segment. I don't like it. They do a Zoe Stark Rhea Ripley video package, and Stark delivers more "I will be the next champion" type promo. She does get tough in the face of Rhea Ripley, but yeah. Kaiser took on Gargano next. The first men's match of the night comes an hour 13 minutes into the show, which is interesting. Kaiser and Gargano had a lot of history. I did play-by-play of this match too, but I'll just point out the good parts. Johnny Gargano hit with the top rope Hurricane Rana, then a suicide dive to Ludwig Kaiser. He hit huge rights. The fans were chanting Johnny Wrestling. He hit a stiff European uppercut on the outside to Gargano, did Kaiser, as Ludwig Kaiser got back in control. Barrett calls him European elegance personified. Kaiser and Johnny Gargano counter each other with roll-up attempts. A series of near falls, then a tornado flatliner. Fans into this match big time as Tommaso Ciampa cheers on the outside. Awesome counter wrestling in this one. Gargano gets hit with a rolling senton and then a kick by Kaiser. His partner Giovanni Vinci is distracting him, and Johnny Gargano takes advantage with a one final beat DDT for the win at 10:30. I'd give this match 3 stars as well. Not long enough classic story to be told, but both guys hit their offense and had awesome counter wrestling in the match. So I think 3 stars is fair. It would go down as the only men's match for the first hour and a half, or for the first 2 hours of the entire show. Then a badly acted women's segment takes place. Adam Pearce says, everyone gets in the ring. We're going to have a big schmoz 4-way tag team match, and the winners are the number 1 contenders for the tag titles against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So we have 4 different teams. We had we had Tegan Knox teaming up with Natalya. We had Maxine and Ivy Nile, and then a couple other teams. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green annoy us on commentary next for the match. Michael Cole burned Chelsea Green on commentary when he says, you still haven't answered what team you'd face out of the 4 teams. She went, well, actually, Michael Cole, we're going to decide that at a later date. And then Michael Cole's like, well, we decide this at the current match that's going on right now. That was awesome that he also burned them on how they actually rarely they defend their titles as well. So Cole just burned Chelsea Green twice. Ivy Nile showed great in-ring skill, as did Maxine, with swift offense and a nice drop to a hold. Bad News Barrett called her Tiger Mask from the mid-'80s. And anything that's like that I'm a fan of. I'm up for anything like that. I miss the Creed brothers. They dominated for 2 Raws in a row, and then this week and last week they're not on. They're probably winning matches on main event. Back to the match, Maxine with a caterpillar. She tried to wrestle like Otis here, and then a double back suplex and a kip up by both ladies. They go to the top, but Maxine is caught by a Tegan's roll up, and Nadia Knox are the victors as Tegan Knox found some leverage momentum with the inside cradle. Gunther backstage tells Imperium that they never listened and they're a disappointment and not holding up the prestige of the group. He says, watch how he conducts himself with the Miz. Mrs. Husick hits and he comes. Mrs. Husick hits and he comes to the ring for his face-to-face with Gunther. Backstage, Adam Pearce tells everybody that there's going to be another schmoz match for the winners facing the contenders between the male tag teams. There's going to be a tag team turmoil match, rather. Miz in the promo does good mic work as always when talking about respect. He talks about Gunther's lack of respect of him, and of course, Gunther interrupts doing just that, further disrespecting Miz even more. We are 528 days into Gunther's reign. Can he make it 534 and still be champion Sunday morning, November the 26th? That's the question when we go into Survivor Series this Saturday. Gunther says this ring is sacred and doesn't lack respect, but just lacks respect for Miz. Because he's not a pro wrestler, he's just an entertainer. This is kind of like where he called the Ultimate Warrior not one. So Miz fires back saying he is one and he's proud to be an entertainer. He mentions Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and of course Randy Savage with a "ooh yeah." He says they're for remembered, and you invested in them. He says Miz says what you want about him, but. He says they're remembered because they're not robots like Gunther. Miz says say what you want about him, but he's always reliable for a promo to get you invested in his matches. That's what I'm saying right now. Miz is always reliable for a promo. He says he will beat respect into Gunther and become a 9-time champion. IC champion. Gunther mentions that he was bullied in high school for idolizing those stars he named and doesn't belong in the sport. He's a little weirdo. What's he becoming, Ronda Rousey? Becky Lynch? Ronnie's a weirdo. Ronnie, you little weirdo. Gunther says Miz hasn't been bullied enough and goes up to him. Both men in suits, and Gunther pushes Miz around, and Gunther with a big boot after the Miz fight back with big right hands. The fans love that. Michael Cole, yes. Oh, yeah, Miz, do it for all the weirdos. We know what side Michael Cole's on. But he admits it. Rollins psychs up backstage, and then Shinsuke Nakamura comes out to take on Gable after the commercial. Nakamura with a single leg sweep. This should be good. Gable on the top rope with an armbar extending over, and he hits a cannonball off the apron to the floor. Commercial break. Back from the commercial, he slaps on a sleeper. Fans chant, "Let's go, Gable." Gable hit a German suplex to Nakamura, and then a sliding German kick to the head of Gable. Gable lands on his feet after a nice move countered then with the ankle lock to Shinsuke Nakamura. He gets out and tried to move of his own, but it was countered face first by Gable, and he flies off the top of the headbutt and a close near fall. Gable idolized Kurt Angle, and he tries to hit the German suplexes in succession just like Kurt. Nakamura caught him with a flipping kick. Shinsuke Nakamura can't come every which way, and he goes for the Kinshasa, but Gable with a bridge pinning attempt and a kick out, a near fall. Nakamura blocked the moonsault as Gable gets taken down. Nakamura went for the Kinshasa again, but an ankle lock once again by Gable. Nakamura looked for ropes to break the hold. Shinsuke then in all kinds of trouble, but rolled out of it. Shinsuke out of nowhere with his unorthodox offense hit an inside cradle, but he got the victory at 12 minutes. So this match was also 3 stars. Action-packed, so many counters, leverages in between. So there's 3 3-star matches on the night if we're keeping count. Good wrestling tonight. Even the ladies' tag match had its moments with Maxine and Ivy. So that was also a good match. Plus, we had the opening match between Rodriguez and Nia Jax that I felt was a good match for Nia Jax, one of her best. Bronson Reed, main event time next. Main event time next between Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. Backstage, Rollins was hyping him up, and Cody said that he's got the man, the 5th man. Bronson Reed says in a video package that Ivar won't survive his match next week with him. Then we have Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso get it going as the two brawl to begin the main event. McIntyre wrestles better as a heel, in my opinion, too. A reverse elbow off the side ropes and a near fall. McIntyre getting boos as he methodically wears down Jey. He charges at Jey using his weight for leverage, sending Drew McIntyre to the floor. Jey with a suicide dive to the floor, then slammed Drew McIntyre face first into the ring post. Then go to a commercial. The match goes back and forth. McIntyre is hit with shots by Jey, and the crowd chant, yeah, yeah, yeah. A Samoan drop and a striking blow. He then missed a knee to the neck breaker on Uso. Both men giving it their all or nothing tonight. Drew McIntyre kicks out of a near fall. Jey Uso top rope, and Drew McIntyre stomps him and holds him for the Future Shock DDT and gets the 3 count after his 3, 2, 1 countdown. He did the 3, 2, 1 countdown as a heel. And he hits the Future Shock DDT and got a 3 count at 15 minutes, including commercials. So this is another 3-star match. Pardon me. It's another 3-star match. As expected, the Judgment Day and Cody's team brawl it out for the preview of the War Games with chairs. Fans chant Randy as Cody is on the mic saying, "We're not alone. Someone I have a legacy with, the Apex Predator." And then he said, "These fans know who it is," as they chanted Randy Orton without saying his name. So he doesn't show up, and the fans don't get to boo the fact that he wasn't there since they go off the air very quickly. So not a surprise, but we got an answer. Closing, so having 4 3-star matches is a good thing in closing, because it's just 3 stars though, so that doesn't mean Raw has a great rating automatically just because it was 3 stars, since 3 stars is just technically a good solid match. The fact that it had 4 matches at 3 stars definitely adds to the rating though, just like the promo Miz did with Gunther, but everyone else is taken into account with my high standards as well. The end of the show felt a bit lackluster, as did the beginning. Having him appear would have been much better, Orton. So overall, this event gets a 5.5 out of 10 for me, based on the wrestling and the fact that they did do good go-home sequences to get you intrigued, even if they were illogical. But what did you all think of this event? Sound off in the comments section below. It would be interesting to hear. And again, hit like and subscribe, as I'm nearing 100 subscribers. And thank you for tuning into this Raw review. We'll be back for the SmackDown review and also the Raw rating in a day or two. In addition to all the history of wrestling videos I pump out every day. Numerous ones every day, including Match of the Day. So we'll see you on those. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching this Raw review. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.